Welcome to another CEO Wisdom Pod with John Vitti. He's CEO at Versus Game, and him and I were having a deep conversation about AI, Hollywood, and the future. This one's going to be a fun one. It's presented by podpire.com. If you want to start or scale your podcast, go to podpire.com. John, welcome to the pod. Give us a brief intro and tell us a bit more about what you're up to nowadays.
Charles, thanks for having me. Appreciate it. So my name is John. I'm the founder and CEO of Versus. Versus is interactive content. So what is that? So whenever you go to any site or an app or a TV show we were just talking about or a podcast, you kind of always end up in this terminal state when you consume all this content and you have all these opinions and thoughts and ideas you want to share and interact with it, but you can't. So you hit that terminal state, so you leave. And what do you do? How do you share these days? Is you talk, text, or go to social. So we're bringing our proprietary AI brings content to life. We're getting people to actually interact with that content. So that's what we're doing.
Where did you get the idea?
Okay, so this all started in my upbringing. I grew up in a basement in Boston, super poor. Because my parents came over on a boat from Italy. They were on a farm, no running water, no electricity after the war. It was, they were refugees in their own country, all that normal stuff. They came here, had me. And so when I was growing up, people were like, "Oh, how come you didn't get into Google when it IPO'd or whatever?" Right. And I was like, because I was broke at the time. And so I thought to myself, wait a second here. There's so many people here that can't enjoy Wall Street, but we're the ones hyping up, the Ubers and the Cardi B's of the world, but we can't get in. And so I thought to myself, wait, can we create a fair and fun marketplace for the masses? So how do you do that? You have to make it fun. How do we do that? We have to make it into a game. So that's the kind of genesis of it. And then we launched it. We are working with, we don't want to create a new human behavior. It's not what I'm trying to do here. I want to just support and enhance what you're already doing, where you're already doing it in the time of intent. So then we go out there and partner with everybody from the Disneys to the Microsofts of the world to enable their users to get into the conversation, to empower the end user by letting them into the conversation.
And how do you do that? I'm on your website. For the audience here that can't have a visual on the website, like how do you do that precisely?
So our proprietary AI goes out there and we make any content, make it interactive. So our AI goes out there and looks at, the written words, some copy, some content, video, whatever it is, images, and it will synthesize that into a short form video for you to actually, consume, watch, be entertained by. Then whatever that, let's say it's an article on, I don't know, the Tyson fight coming up with Jake Paul. It'll consume that content. It'll come up with the short form video, and then it'll come up with a question like, well, who's going to win? Or will the fight actually happen? Right? There's some news that it might not happen now. And then you as the user, you're already on, let's say, a Forbes or USA Today, reading that article. We are piped in right there at the time of your intent, why you decided to read it. We show you this video, comes up with a question, like who's going to win or whatever, and then you actually get to pick. And if you get it right, you earn these points, and then those points can eventually lead to some cool prizes.
Is it on an app? Is it on a browser?
It's everywhere. So we are not a consumer-facing brand. We are a B2B company. So we partner up with the Disneys to the UFCs and NFLs of the world that already have all that content, those users, and we say, okay, well, we can help you. Everyone's focused on creating content. It's great content. But what about the other side of that coin where it's, let's get people to interact with that content, right? It's about transformational content right now. It's less about viewing, more about doing. So what the internet did or what the streamers did to Blockbuster, what social media companies did to community, we're doing to content. We're making content interactive. So instead of just sitting there passively looking at it, you now get to interact with it. It's like this. Charles, when was the last time you were watching your favorite TV show or listening to a podcast and you were like, oh, I think this is going to happen? And then you were able to participate and even get rewarded for being right? Right? Why not? That's what we're doing.
Quite interesting. Yeah. I consume my content in quite an odd way, but yeah, like on YouTube would be nice to have this embedded question and so forth. And okay, so I understand the brands that you work with. They have to gain data, they have to gain engagement, and consumers they have to gain the fun of it of playing the game. What are the economics? How do you get paid, and how do brands like UFC get paid on their ends?
Yeah, absolutely. And you're just to touch base on this, you're right. Because right now everyone's treating companies like a Netflix to a Spotify as like a content provider. They get in and they get out and they take their interaction and fun elsewhere, right? But those companies, I mean, let's have them do it there. So how we actually monetize is through ads, like most people, right? Forbes is a content company. They monetize through ads. We are a interactive content company, and we monetize through ads. So we pipe it, we get our ads piped in, we show them at the right place in the right time, and we're really putting the end users experience in first instead of having, you know how ads these days are a rough user experience. They'll block you from, they'll actually watching the ad unlocks your experience. That's kind of wild to me. So we've kind of reverse engineered some things, and we have our own ads, and our ads get a 2.1% click-through rate, which is really high.
Right. And how do you make money off this? And how do these companies make money off this?
All right, yeah. So we get paid on a CPM basis through those ads when those ads show up on a USA Today, let's say, and then we share a piece of our revenue right to our partners like USA Today.
Interesting. Okay, so when the game pops and people play on it, you get paid and your client too? How does that work?
Yeah, yeah. We have a game, a question, a video, right? And then we also weave in an ad that's relevant, contextually relevant. And then when that ad shows up, we get paid on a CPM basis, and we share a piece of that with our partners.
Got it. Interesting. Okay, so for example, I'm on USA Today. I see a game about the Jake Paul and Tyson fight. Like I'm seeing two little icons fight here, and I can decide on the outcome, yes or no. And that's engagement, that's interactive. So it's money. Pretty cool. Interesting model.
Yeah. Who
Your
do you think is
business.
gonna win that fight, by the way? Tyson or Jake Paul?
Good question. I'd say Jake Paul. Yeah. Tyson. I mean, he was a machine, but I don't think he is anymore. So it's like, yeah, you can watch like younger Tyson, but I
Have you
don't think
seen
he'll.
his training videos recently?
Yeah, yeah, I've seen
I don't know
that.
if he's got enough gas in the tank, but I would not want to stand in front of
Yeah,
him
but
for
how old is he? 60?
almost 60. Yeah.
Yeah, so at 60 years old, and I mean, I read Tyson's bio and all of that, all the drugs he did, all the sexual diseases he has, that weakens a person. As a biohacker, you know that, doesn't have all of his brain, and also he doesn't have the tiger in him anymore that he used to, because he actually fixed all these psychological problem, or a lot of them, through that, and that was his power, I guess. So doesn't stand a chance against Jake Paul. How much you
Oh,
want to put
wow.
on that?
Doesn't stand. I think it's gonna. I hope it's a good fight. Every fight I watch, I hope it's a good fight. I think that if it doesn't end in the first round, then I think Jake would, because he's got the lungs. He's super young, you know.
Right. Oh, so you think like Tyson could knock Jake? Yeah, that's interesting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Tyson could knock out anybody if he gets a clean shot. Tyson
Yeah,
at 60, Tyson at 60 is like any normal, amazing athlete at like 40, you know? So
interesting. Yeah, let's see. And do you think that betting where do you see sports betting nowadays? Do you feel that it's an industry that's growing in popularity? Where do you see that going?
yeah, have never done many sports betting, but I only follow one sport, which is martial arts. I only like fighting. Um, but I know that that world is getting much bigger and bigger. I mean, every Super Bowl, the stats come out, and it's just millions and millions more people watching and betting on it. So I think it's only growing. It'll eventually be, everywhere. It'll be ubiquitous within the community and the environment, which is I think is great.
I think like humans should be able to bet on pretty much everything. I think betting's a cool sport because there's the entertainment and there's the education as well. It's the same reason why VCs love playing poker. There's the thrill, there's the money on the table, and there's ego, and
Yeah.
there's you either learning from your bet or not. I do think there should be a platform that allows us to bet even on stuff like the weather.
Yeah, irresponsibly, if it's done responsibly. Yeah, I mean, honestly, you make a good point. Everything is betting from what VCs do in their job to what the stock market is. It's all and what the studios do with I'm gonna green light this TV show or movie and we're gonna hope it works, right? It's all betting. And that's great. If it's done responsibly, makes sense.
Right, or as a startup founder or as a human being, you make hundreds to thousands of decisions on a daily basis, some of them good, some of them bad. In very successful founders, they make a lot of good decisions, and poor founders, well, they most of their decisions are not good. Um,
Well, I would say that if you're a true founder, it's a build where you make a lot of bad decisions. You have to make a ton. And then you start learning how to make good decisions. But you can't, I don't think you can just start by making good with good decision. I think there's a whole universe of really terrible ideas and decisions you make that will lead you to the good ones.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, sometimes I've seen exceptions, like if your parents are quite wealthy and you're brought up in this nice environment, you're given like always the exact data. Let's say your dad's a billionaire and makes really good decisions, while you just copy that. Plus, your parents have good connections; they connect you with the right people and put you in an environment where you're safe pretty much all the time, and you think you're good at making money, but everything was sort of giving to you on a golden platter. Now, yes, most founders, I think it's a quantity equation. You need to pull off as many decisions and observe, and be good at observing yourself, your environment, your body, but also the market, and see if you have a product market fit. In your case, how have you been able to observe if you had an actual product market fit and if this thing was catching fire by itself?
Trial and error. So I started 4 companies before this company, and my first 2 failed miserably. I learned so much, I would not change a thing. My last 2 companies that I founded, I successfully exited. One was small, one was medium, but it was all I'm doing is looking for um, gaps or holes or areas that I think, oh man, I can improve this. And so I don't care what the industry is, but if you look in the rearview mirror of what I've done, my body of work, it's interesting because it's this dotted line that happened. I had no idea, but it's a dotted line to get me to where I am today with Versus. So I'm excited to take all of that knowledge and those failures and successes and trials to what I'm doing today. And I am extremely grateful and lucky that all happened, and lucky that I have an amazing supportive team of people, investors, advisors that help get me here. So
In your failures, how did you make sure that they did not become traumatic and actually you could extract some lessons out of them and get back up on your feet?
this is interesting. So um at a young age, I observed people. So I observed my dad getting fired from work. Um, he's an immigrant. Once in a while, you get fired. He just show up and he'd be home the entire summer or whatever. And I thought, and later on, I didn't know that that really affected me. And so that's why I'm like, I got to be the master of my own domain. I got to like, do it myself. But then at a young age, I also observed people like getting straight A's in school. And I was a good student for most of the time, but then I messed up and um, almost failed out of college, I think twice. And I learned, and high school's ups and downs, and I had to learn how to hustle, how to pick myself, okay, give myself a quick TED talk, and I gotta go get this done. And so I think those things have translated into what I am now, which is failures and successes. It's just part of the journey and the experience, and it's how I learn through failures. And I'm okay. I'm not scared. Um, I know I can go figure it out. You know, that whole like I gotta go figure like if you get things handed to you versus I gotta go figure it out or else I don't get to eat, you know, tonight, then you train, you build this different muscle in your brain and in your soul where it's like, oh, it's on me. I got this.
Curious to see about your routine nowadays because you've always been to martial arts as well. So, what does your day to day look like?
I am usually up out of bed like 4:30. I'll go do some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or some Muay Thai. I stopped competing competitively for Muay Thai, but once in a while I'll do some tournaments for Jiu-Jitsu. So I'll do that in the morning. And then I just work. That's kind of it. I just work and work and work. And then on the weekends, I try to find that balance by doing some free diving and spearfishing and stuff like that.
So, where do you spearfish? Where? Like, not in LA.
Yeah, so you can go to Palos Verdes, you can go down to San Diego, you can go off the shore. My friend has a boat that he rents out. Um, he takes us out once in a while. We go to like Catalina Island or San Clemente or Coronado Islands, and we just go jump in the water, take one breath, and we dive down and go get whatever's out there, from lobster to yellowtail and rockfish and eel. It's great.
And one of your first job was actually being a go-go dancer.
Uh, Google Dancer. No, no, my first.
Because I saw that caption on your Instagram saying back then when I was a go-go dancer at like 21 with girls with paint on their body.
Yeah, I did I had was what was this? This is a long time ago. Oh my God. It was like some holiday thing. Somebody asked me to go to like this club and dance around and whatever. And I was like, I need money. I had 6 jobs then. I worked as like a personal trainer, I worked as like in temp firms and sales for recruiting, restaurant, just whatever I could do to figure it out.
You're this hustler, man. So what was the transition between that John and the John that you are today building tech companies?
I was able to look for patterns, find patterns. I think that's the superpower that everyone needs. When you look for patterns and trends, then that literally builds out this map for you. And because I was okay with being uncomfortable and that being that uncomfortable created a massive amount of motivation for me. I thought, okay, well, let me go and try. I'm not scared if I fail. I've experienced that before. I know what that tastes like. Let me go and try it. But those looking for patterns and trends helps you build that map and that path.
Love it, dude. What are your top goals this year? Because you just raised Series A. Are you going for Series B this year? Or?
Top goal for us is all about partnering with the biggest and best companies and brands in the world. That's all we're focused on, is to work with amazing people. So yeah.
All right, dude. Where can people find out more about you?
I guess on LinkedIn, they can go to John Vitti. They can go to our website versusgame.com. Yeah.